What's up, everybody? This is Matt, the host of the Jammies. In this week's episode, we're going to be talking about a couple of great new bands that I've stumbled onto over the past month. We got a good list of saucy singles as usual. We're going to talk about the debut album, The Pit by Arcy. And we got a couple other new segments to go through as well, so stick around. It's going to be a great episode. Let's dive in. Hello everyone, and welcome into the Jammies. This is your host Matt, and today we're going to be going over plenty new artists as usual. We got a good slew of saucy singles to get through. A slew of saucy singles, huh? That's a mouthful. Good alliteration though. I'll give myself a pat on the back for that one. We're going to go over our impressions on Arcy's debut album, The Pit. It's been out since April 18th of 2025, so we've had about a month to dive in, and I'm excited to talk about it. We're going to get into that a little bit later in the show. And episode 7 is actually going to include a new segment as well, so lots to look forward to. So a little bit of housekeeping to start us off here. I'll try to run through this nice and quick. If you have any song recommendations or artist recommendations for the show, do reach out. As well as if you've been listening to the Jammies, if you've been listening to any music or artists that I have been recommending, please do let me know. It definitely means a lot to know that people are out there listening to the show, and it's not just a bunch of, computers that are just clicking streams through, or is it just my podcast host that's just trying to keep me going, and it's like, oh yeah, you got 6 listeners out in Germany. They're loving your stuff, Are those real people? Let me know. Let me know if that's you out there. Let me know if you're listening to the show. And again, if you're listening to any songs or artists that have been recommended thus far. It definitely means a lot to know that there are real people out there that are digging the content that you're creating. So I would appreciate that. For all those things, you can reach out at thejammiesshow@gmail.com. That is the Jammies, Jammies show, SHOW @gmail.com. Last thing about reaching out would be if you have any music of your own that you wanted to showcase on the show, do reach out to that same Gmail address. We can start a conversation, and we can get your music featured right on the show, just like Noah Richardson did last week. If you didn't check that one out, it's at the very end of the show. We got to listen to his single, Stay Down, right here on the Jammies. 2 last bits of housekeeping. I am going to mention some different artist names and song names. If you needed any help with the spelling or didn't quite hear me, all that stuff is going to be in the timestamp, so you're able to just maybe copy and paste that into a Spotify or Apple search, and you should be able to find these different artists, songs, and all that good stuff. Last thing is just, if you don't mind following the podcast, it's not on a definitive schedule as of right now, so just trying to get one out once a month. That's the goal this year, and we'll see if it ups from there, but if you want to click follow on the podcast, it will let you know when the latest episode comes out. It's been right around the middle of each month, so we're going to try to stick with that. This one's being recorded on May 12th. I'm hoping to have it out on this next Friday coming up here. So yeah, drop a follow if you want to make sure you're catching each and every episode of the Jammies. With all that said, episode number 7, let's kick it off with the artist to mention. And we have a great list of artists this week. We got a nice London rock band to start us out, and then we're going to go into even more great folk artists that I've been able to find. We've mentioned Bren and Michael Marchese recently. We got 2 more artists to go through that are going to slot right into a great playlist with those guys. Artist number 1 on episode 7 of The Jammies, it's a band called Artaca. I hope that's how you say it. There's going to be a couple mispronunciations, I'm sure, throughout the show, but Artaca, I'm going to spell it out like I usually do. It is Artaca. So this is a pretty new band. They've released some music in 2024 and actually had a recent EP come out in 2025. They got only about 7 songs out so far, and this recent EP that they dropped called Journey actually contains 4 of their 7 songs that are out right now. The EP Journey dropped on March 14, 2025, so very new music, and it's got a lot of their best stuff. Again, they only have 7 songs, so if you wanted to deep dive into all their music, it really shouldn't take you too long. I vouch for all of it. I think all of it's good. Even the interlude that is on this EP is very, very good. My personal favorites, though, by Artaca. Man, I hope I'm saying that right. Artaca, if I'm not saying it right, I looked on social medias to see if there was anything out there that would help me out with that pronunciation. Couldn't find anything, so my 2 favorite songs by Artaca are Blossom, which was on that latest EP called Journey, and then my other favorite song by them is My Favorite Distraction. That's, I think, their number 1 song on Spotify right now, so those 2 are great. Blossom is very pretty, a little bit slower to start, but it's always building and it will definitely pay itself off. You're going to hear that quite a bit today. There's a lot of great songs that just build and build and build. My favorite distraction, a great rock song. So Blossom has its guitar solo, which is probably why it's my favorite song by Artaca, but my favorite distraction, really love this one too. Love when they say my favorite distraction and like switch it up. It's a good vibe, and they're a very good London jammy band. I'm hoping that because I've stumbled onto this band, I can maybe find a couple more London bands as well, or just even European bands, because I've had such good luck with Australian bands that, hey, if I can unlock a whole new area for rock music, then I'm all for it. So that is Artaca. Again, 7 songs out right now. They got that new EP that dropped on March 14th called Journey. My favorite songs by them are Blossom and my favorite Distraction. Go check them out. Alrighty. My second artist to mention today, and I'm not going to play favorites or anything like that, but it's hard not to think that this would be the best recommendation of this episode, and this artist's name is Staloch. Bo is just B-O, and then Staloch is actually Staloch. But again, pronounced Staloch according to the Spotify bio. Also on the Spotify bio is him saying he is petrified of jellyfish and he hates pickles. So yeah, there you go. This is Staloch, and man, does he make some fantastic music. I got 3 favorites we're going to go through. So Staloch, he's been releasing music since 2023, and everything since 2024 has been really, really good. He has a kind of an EP. It's labeled as a single on Spotify, but we're going to call it an EP because it's 6 songs. It's an EP from 2024 called Your Eyes Tell Stories. A little bit slower. Once he gets past that, there's going to be some really good jammy, again, like building up folk music that has great acoustic guitar. He just belts it. He sounds fantastic when he sings over the music. So I think how I stumbled into Staloch is he released a recent EP called The Garden, and The Garden came out on March 14th. Actually, the exact same day as the EP by Artaca. It's got a lot of good music on it. One of my favorite songs by him is the opener to this EP. It's called Give It a Break. The whole song is great. Again, it's just going to keep on building and building, and it pays off even more so in the end. Next song on it's called The Garden. Very good. And the Garden EP itself, it's going to be kind of a little bit slower, I'd say. Not quite as slow as that first EP that he had. But all the music is really fantastic. He's got a great singing voice. It's good lyrically. Again, nice acoustic guitar throughout most of it. And then once you get out of the EP, The Garden, from Staloch, he's got a couple other singles out there that I really, really enjoy. My favorite song actually by him is probably the song called Wait It Out. And I'd say if you wanted to check out Staloch, I would start with Wait It Out, Santa Fe, and that opening song on The Garden, Give It a Break. Again, all of his music since about 2024 has been really, really good, really solid folk music. Got good build-up and good payoffs in each of their songs. And this recent EP, The Garden, it kind of reminds me of like Matt Mason a bit with his different stripped albums, and specifically Bank on the Funeral, Stripped. I think you get sort of that vibe to it. So if you want really powerful singing and build up with acoustic guitar, all that good stuff, go check out Staloch. Again, it's Bostaloch. Alrighty, we are into the third and final artist that I'm going to mention today, and this artist is Elias Hix, another fantastic folk artist with a recent EP that dropped. Actually, it dropped on May 2nd, so even newer than the previous 2. This is a 5-song EP, and it's called Your Name Stuck to My Teeth. By the way, Elias Hix is Elias space Hix. First song I actually ever heard by Elias Hix. I believe it showed up in my release radar because it is on this latest EP here, and it's the song called Helen. Probably my favorite song, and there's good reason. It is another build-up folk song that's going to just have great banjo and great acoustic guitar that are just building, and just really paying off, because Elias Hix also has a fantastic voice. Clearly, I have specific genres of music that I personally enjoy. Again, hopefully, if you've been listening through the first 7 episodes of the Jammies, you're going to catch the same vibes that I do, and very much appreciate these artists too. I like it when a song doesn't just stay monotone or stay at one level. I like when it does have a build-up, it does have a climax to the song, and those are clearly some of my favorite songs. So, the 3 songs by Elias Hix that I'd really recommend are all going to have that type of vibe to them. And actually, all 3 of these songs ended up on that EP, Your Name Stuck to My Teeth. And those 3 songs are going to be Helen, All the Colors I Can Be, and Seamstress. Those 3 songs alone are a reason to follow Elias Hix, and I'm hoping that he delivers even more music like this. He did have an album come out in 2023 called Thinner, and I did listen to all of Thinner. It has some good stuff on it, but it's definitely slower, a little bit more piano, similar to Bo Staloch, that his older stuff just is a little bit slower, more piano, kind of just doing it by himself, where these latest songs on this EP are going to be more of the whole band coming together and delivering some excellent music. So Elias Hix, again, I'd recommend the song Helen, All the Colors I Can Be, and Seamstress. If you got time, you can listen to. It's a 5-song EP, but one of them's just a 1-minute kind of banjo playing. So really, it's like 4 songs total on that EP. Your Name Stuck to My Teeth. I think you're gonna enjoy. So as I mentioned earlier, Bren, Michael Marcagi, now Bo Staloch, Elias Hix. Throw in what you want else with those ones, but yeah, you're gonna have an awesome, powerful folk playlist. I guarantee it. Alrighty. We have one topic to talk about before we get into the saucy singles, and that is going to be Arcy Drive's debut album, The Pit. We mentioned it last episode that it was releasing actually on that same time frame. It was on April 18th of 2025 that The Pit released. So I've had about 3 or 4 weeks to experience the album and the vinyl. I gotta say, the more listens, the better it gets for me. I like the whole thing. I actually love the whole damn thing. Arcy Drive just doesn't really have a miss for me. I'd say every single song that I've ever heard by them, which is all of them, it's a 7 out of 10 at the very bare minimum. And the more I listen to each one of these songs, I don't even know if there's anything lower than a 7.5 or something like that out of 10. The album itself is going to go down as one that I can listen to front to back any day of the week. And I think that there's something to love for just about every single music fan out there with this album. I still think that Under the Rug is probably the best pure rock song on the whole album, and it's a great way to start the album. When I saw that was going to be the opening track of this album, I was super stoked, and I actually thought that most of the album was kind of going to follow suit with this and be very much a rock album, but I'm actually pleasantly surprised now that the album just has so many different genres of music and so many different ways that the singer plays with his voice and makes it different if it's more so in the folk genre or in the indie rock genre or even just in the rock genre itself. I'd still say, yep, again, that Under the Rug is probably still the best pure rock song on the album, and I think that Oak Tree, another one of those singles that we have been talking about actually since it released, that Oak Tree, parentheses, Daydream, it's probably the best folk song on the album, but the whole album is just beautiful. So, I mean, I have it written down on my little sheet here. It says highlights, but I'd say the whole album, The Pit, by Arcy Drive, is a highlight. You can't really go wrong if you listen to it front to back, and I do think the more I listen to it, the more I'm just going to fall further and further in love with it. If you needed a place to start, again, Under the Rug is going to be a great start to the album. It's a great place to start with Arcy Drive in general. It's a great place to start with this album. Other highlights that I have written down, again, would be Louis. Lights Fall is so beautiful. I saw that one popping up on quite a bit of social media when it was first releasing, and man, lovely song. Rocket Chair was a late single before the album came out. If you haven't heard Rocket Chair, that's a great one too. Over the Hill has a nice kind of just them hanging out, playing acoustic guitar and singing together type of vibe there. And then the second to last song, kind of the last full-length song, is called Creatures of the Night. And this is where it just reminds me of like a Kings of Leon album, that it's capping the whole album in such a beautiful way. And it makes it so easy to say, yes, I want to listen through this whole album anytime. Like, yes, I love the whole album front to back because Creatures of the Night is one of the best songs on here. It's a beautiful song. And again, it's the second to last song. There is a song, Swimming, right after it. But that one's only about a minute and a half and just kind of is an outro to it all. I would love to know if Arcy Drive is a big fan of Kings of Leon, because you can just hear it every now and then in their music. Kind of the same type of guitar every now and then, and just the way that the singer manipulates his voice in different ways. And they also have a song called Desert Song that came out in 2023. I would love to know if that had anything to do with the song Cold Desert by Kings of Leon, because it has, again, a similar vibe, a slow intro build, and then it outros in that same way. So I guess if Arcy Drive ever hears this, I would love to know if they're fans of Kings of Leon. All I know is that I am a lifelong fan of Arcy Drive. I will listen to anything that they ever put out. And The Pit, their debut album, 10 out of 10, just, I mean, immediately in the conversation for some of the best songs of the year, as well as potentially the best album of the year. So I'm sure we'll be talking about this one come November, December. If you haven't checked it out yet, The Pit by Arcy Drive. Go support the artist and find yourself some damn good music in the meantime. Alright, it is time to get off my Arcy Drive soapbox and hop right into another soapbox, which leads me into the Saucy Singles for episode number 7 of the Jammies. So Saucy Singles is a segment of the show that I just go through a couple one-off single songs that have come out recently, or that I've just found recently that I'm truly enjoying over this last month. And when I say soapbox into another soapbox, I'm talking Richie Mitch and the Coal Miners. Who else but RMCM would release a full-length album, their 4th studio album, and then follow it up only a month later with 2 more beautiful singles. These singles being Downey and Blue Lights by, again, Richie Mitch and the Coal Miners. They had a social media post about these that I guess they just didn't feel like they fit into the album necessarily. That album being Colorado's on Fire Again, which we have been talking about the past 2 weeks. So just to have more RMCM right after that album came out is a beautiful thing. And really it's like RMCM was just like, hey, here's a deluxe version of our album Colorado's on Fire Again. While Downey and Blue Lights, I understand if they didn't necessarily make the cut on the album or didn't work with the album. When I hear Downey and when I hear Blue Lights, I hear vintage, beautiful Richie Mitch and the Coal Miners. If you like the album Solstice, or even further back with their debut album RMCM, I think you're going to like the singles Downey and Blue Lights. At first I really loved Downey, and now Blue Lights is just kind of climbing the chart as well, because they have just a fun outro to that song, which I'm really enjoying both of them. So again, both are fantastic. If you like older RMCM, or if you like anything on their new album, I think this is just going to add to all the great music that they have out there. If you still haven't listened to Richie Mitch and the Coal Miners and you're a fan of folk or just kind of indie chill music, I do recommend them every single week, it seems, and I'll continue to do that because they continue to wow me with their music. Next up in the Saucy Singles, we have the song Acrobat by a band called Tucked In. Tucked In is Tucked space IN. So yeah, Acrobat, I feel like it's a good little folk song with a solid singing voice of the lead singer. A little bit of rasp in the voice, always good for folk music in my opinion. It also has just a great bass line that's just kind of holding things down the entire time. I think Acrobat just as a one-off, add it to a folk playlist or an indie playlist. I think it's going to be a good call for you, and anytime it comes on, I don't skip it. It's been very good to me. It was so good that I decided to go through all of Tucked In's music. They have quite a bit of music out there, including a couple different albums. This was the best song in my opinion, and unfortunately kind of it's a saucy single because it's the best song I heard from them, and I don't know if there's anything else, for me personally, of note here. So Acrobat by Tucked In, go check that one out. Alrighty, next up on the Saucy Singles list, we have the song Side by Side by Jacqueline Rowe. So the song Side by Side, that's a sweet little song. It has a very nice little refrain, cute little refrain. I'll love you until we're resting side by side or something like that. The whole song holds up well. The refrains are really good when they hit, and it does have a late song kind of switch up that really takes it to another level that makes me truly love this song, Side by Side by Jacqueline Rowe. Again, I did listen through all of Jacqueline Rowe's music. I think they have quite a few albums out as well, maybe 2 or 3 if I remember correctly. I didn't necessarily find much more, but if you do like the singer's voice and if you do like kind of the vibe that they're going for, there's going to be a lot more of it out there. For whatever reason, Side by Side just really worked the best for me, and that's what I'm here to report on. Alright, 2 more saucy singles for you. This one is called Make It Easy by a band called Lila's Rose. Lila's Rose is Leila''S, Rose Rose. Lila's Rose, very new band, at least in terms of Spotify. Only 4 songs out so far, and Make It Easy is so far my favorite song by them, and it's the one that I'm going to recommend if you wanted to check out a little fast-paced guitar, some catchy tunes, good refrain. I'm going to recommend the song Make It Easy by Lila's Rose. The refrain specifically, the singer just really gets to showcase how good of a voice they have, and I hope they lean into that singer's voice because while the guitar is good and everything else around it is very good, it's the singer and the refrain that really caught my attention. And again, I'm hoping to find a lot more in the future from this band. So they're another one that I have saved. I'm waiting on more music for sure, but as of right now, if you want to check out the song Make It Easy, highly recommend that one from Lila's Rose. So you thought you were going to make it through an episode of the Jammies without hearing about the artist Hans Williams. Well, he released a new single, and it's his first song that he has released since the amazing EP that I always talk about, More Than One Way Home. This latest single, apparently it took him about a year to make. I think about 4 other artists collaborating with him on this song. The song is called Hold My Love by Hans Williams. So the refrain, I feel, is a little repetitive in the song, but I think the reason I love Hans Williams so much is his incredible ability to sing high, low, raspy, deep. He has so much range, and the way that he can just shift gears with his voice too, it's just, man, it works well for me, and it works well just in folk music in general, I feel like. So Hans Williams, here you are again, 7 for 7. Unless you keep on releasing music, there's going to be one of these days that you don't end up on an episode. And I'll be kind of sad, you know? This has been a great tradition, and I'll recommend Hans Williams as much as I recommend any other artist on the show. So, Hold My Love by Hans Williams. Go check out that single. All right, that wraps up all the saucy singles for this week and all the artists to mention as well. We went over the band Artaca, the artist Bo Staloch, the artist Elias Hix. We went over Arcy Drive's debut album, The Pit. We went over the saucy singles Downey and Blue Lights, both by Richie Mitch and the Coal Miners. We talked about the song Acrobat by a band called Tucked In. We talked about Side by Side by a band Jacqueline Rowe. We talked about Make It Easy by Lila's Rose. And we talked about Hold My Love by Hans Williams. So that is all the new music to talk about, but don't head out yet because we got a couple more things to talk about. One thing being a new segment for the show, and it might not sound that much fun when I say the title of the segment, but stick with me. So the new segment for the show is called Music Homework, and this week we are going to be talking about camp. Again, camp is CAAMP, if you've never heard of them or deep dove into their music. And what Music Homework is going to be is Camp has a album coming up very soon. It's going to come out on June 6th. It's called Copper Changes Color. And this is going to be in preparation for that. So Camp, I have a couple different singles that I do like and would already recommend by Camp. The song By and By, the song No Sleep. We recommended the song Somewhere and the song Used to This, just last episode even. But I would not say that I am a Camp connoisseur. I am using this opportunity with the new segment Music Homework to basically take a deep dive into all of Camp's music. They currently have 3 albums out. They have the self-titled Camp album, came out in 2016. They have the album By and By, came out in 2019. And they have the album Lavender Days that came out in 2022. So essentially to prepare for this next album, Copper Changes Color, I'm going to have myself listen to every song on all 3 of these albums, make sure that I'm not leaving anything behind before a whole new album comes out. And I'm trying to get excited for an artist that maybe I haven't deep dove into, but has this new music coming out. I know a lot of people love Camp. My sister and her husband specifically, they love Camp. And again, I do have some singles that I really enjoy by Camp, so I'm looking forward to this opportunity to dive through all 3 of their albums before their next one comes out on June 6th. And if you have extra time in between all these other music recommendations, and you haven't listened to all of Camp's music, let's do it together and let's celebrate that June 6th release date of their first album since 2022. So last thing that I want to mention is just a couple upcoming albums that are going to be things that I'm looking forward to, and just want to make sure to get the information out there for anybody that's looking for new music. And again, if you're enjoying the recommendations that I've had for the show, these are the couple albums that I know of that are coming up that I'm excited for, or at the very least I'll be checking out. And the upcoming albums, as far as, again, I'm recording this on May 12th, so May 16th, same day that this episode should be coming out, we have the album Home at Last by a band called Uncle Strut. So Uncle Strut, I have a couple different singles saved from them over the past year or so, and this is their first ever album. So while I haven't found anything that I absolutely love by Uncle Strut, they had enough there that I do follow the band on Spotify, as well as it's one of those bands I will check out what you come out with because it's good enough for me in that respect. And this is going to be their debut album, so I'm ready to check out, see what we can find from Uncle Strut. Again, their album coming out on May 16th called Home at Last. We got a big one coming out on May 30th. That is going to be Hope We Have Fun by Mount Joy. Mount Joy, big name in the indie scene. has obviously stretched out of indie as well. So that album coming out on May 30th. Again, it's called Hope We Have Fun, so I'll be checking that one out when it comes out. Another one on the list is that Copper Changes Color by Camp, again on June 6th. And then we got Benson Boone's new album, American Heart, coming out on June 20th. So those are kind of the 4 albums that I know of that I'll be checking out when they do drop. So if you also have interest in any of the music, do check out those albums and their respective release dates there as well. So those are a couple new little segments. Again, music homework might be one that shows up on occasion, as well as upcoming albums, just to give you guys a heads up as to what I'm going to be listening to while there's no episode that has necessarily came out in that time frame. So all that being said, that is episode number 7 of the Jammies. Really hope you guys enjoyed this one. A lot of good to check out with the London rock band Artaca. You got 2 brilliant new folk artists with Elias Hix and Staloch. If you still haven't listened to Arcy Drive's new album, The Pit, it's fantastic. Again, I'd say 10 out of 10, but I'm also a diehard Arcy Drive fan at this point in my life. But I do think there's a little something for everybody on that one. We went through a good list of saucy singles this week with Downey and Blue Lights, both by Richie Mentioned the Coal Miners. We had Hold My Love by Hans Williams. We had Acrobat by Tucked In. We had Side by Side by Jacqueline Rowe. And we had Make It Easy by Lila's Rose. Again, our music homework is Camp and all of their discography in preparation for their album coming out on June 6th, Copper Changes Color. And that is a wrap on everything. So just to bring up a little bit of that housekeeping from the beginning, again, if you are listening to the Jammies, I would really appreciate reach out via email if you have me on any social medias. My social medias are usually either the Jammies, which you can search the Jammies, find me on some of those places. I also have the handle MattyWitha. So it's MattyWitha. So you can find my Instagram's MattyWitha if you want to follow me on there. As well as my TikTok is MattyWitha, and that's going to be a little bit more short form content where I do cut parts of the podcast out and share that on my TikTok, and usually about a minute or less videos explaining kind of these different artists that I do talk about or the different singles that we talk about here. So do check out MattyWitha is again my handle on some of those things. Otherwise, you can search out the Jammies to find the full podcast. So if you have been listening to any of the songs, the artists, if you've been just listening to the Jammies and enjoying the fact that there's some content out there that's talking about good indie music, do reach out. Let me know that you're listening. Easiest way is going to be on any of those social medias or at thejammiesshow@gmail.com. Again, JAMMIES. If you have any music that you wanted to showcase on the show, like Noah Richardson did last week, do reach out to me. We can put something together and have your music showcased right at the end here. And if all this music wasn't enough, I'm even going to give you guys a little sneak peek at the next episode that we'll be recording likely in June. And we already got some good music to listen to. We got all of Camp to go over, but we got a new band that I just stumbled onto in the past couple days. Not quite ready to talk about my favorite songs by them or how I'd recommend diving into their music, but that band's called Nikki and the Barn Boys, and we'll be talking about them on the next episode. That is a guarantee. And we also have a good list of singles that are already stacking up to discuss on the next episode as well. So a lot to look forward to. I hope you guys enjoy all the music that you do end up queuing up. I hope you guys are enjoying the nice weather that comes along with May in the Midwest. May in the Midwest, is that a good band name? No, probably not. Really appreciate everybody for sticking around with the show all the way to the end, as well as checking out each of the 7 episodes so far. If you haven't, there are 6 other episodes to go check out as well, and look forward to episode 8, should be dropping sometime in June. Thanks again so much for listening, and keep on jamming.